In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful, I would like to welcome all of you students of today's lesson, which is going to be about project. Today, inshallah, we will try to design a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, but first, let's see the objectives of today's lesson. We are going to express or use how we can use can't, can, could, couldn't, must, may, or might to make something like how to do something, okay, and how to design a PowerPoint presentation about a sitcom, okay. Let's start. Now, do you remember this sentence or these two sentences? Very good. Why? Because we are using wish, okay, here as an imaginary, okay, it's not real, as I said in the previous lesson. I wish I played football last night, and I wish I were, okay, I were. Here, when you are talking about the second conditional or imaginary, you should use the were. I wish I were taller, okay. Here I'm talking about expressing regret in what? In the present, and how I can form this? I form it in like wish and the past simple, wished and the past simple. What about the third one? Ali wishes he hadn't forgotten his lesson. Here, Ali is expressing regret in the past, okay, so he is expressing regret in the past. Okay, what's the form? The form wish plus the past perfect, plus the past perfect. 4 and 5 also are the same because we are using or expressing this in the future. Okay, so here, number 4, I wish they would stop interrupting. Number 5, I wish you wouldn't make mistake all the time. Okay, so the first one, number 4, I wish something to be changed, okay, which is annoying for me actually. And number 5, I wish you wouldn't make mistakes all the time. I wish I am complaining about this one. Okay, I am complaining because here when I complain about doing or making mistakes all the time. Okay, all the time. Pretty good. And how we can form this? Wish plus would. Sometimes we can add, for example, could. Okay, we can add could. How we can form all of this? Subject, noun or a pronoun, then wish, okay, and one tense back, as we said. If I'm talking now, I'm expressing regret in the present, I should, when I say I wish, I should use the past symbol, okay. And if I am expressing regret in the past, for example, the action happened in the past, then I use I wish with the past perfect, with the past perfect. Very good. Now let's move to so that and such that. Do you remember this? So and that, okay, or such that. Nice. So here, when I'm talking about so, adjective, adverb, and that, he is so fast. Fast here is adjective or adverb. He is so fast. It's an adjective, okay? Why? Because I'm describing a person, okay? I'm describing the noun. But when I'm describing the verb, like he ran so fast here, fast is an adverb. Fast is an adverb, not an adjective, okay? You should remember this guy, okay? You should remember this, guys, because he is so fast. I am describing a noun, but when I'm describing a verb, I should use an adverb. The green one, so many, noun, and of course I have to use that. I have so many books, okay? So many books. Here, because many, and of course books, nouns, okay? It's a noun. That I hardly, that he can or I can hardly carry. Then I have so much, again, much, I have to use noun after much. Okay, so much, or here, after that, I have to use the noun that I can't go out tonight. The blue one, such, plus the adjective, of course, and noun, it was such a difficult, okay, test. Such a difficult test. So here, such, difficult is an adjective, okay, test is the noun, okay, test is the noun. So it was such a difficult test that none of the students did well. Okay, very good. Now let's move here to another thing, another point of the form, meaning, and function, which is can't, could, couldn't, must, may, or might, and this is on page 45, guys. You should open your books, page 45. Why? Because I'm talking about how can I use can, could, or couldn't. Okay, I have to read this one now. Use can't, must, may, or might to make what? To make suppositions here. Why? To speculate about something and to draw conclusions. Okay, to draw conclusions. So we use can't, must, may, or might to make something we are going to speculate. Okay, so here about something and to speculate about something and to draw conclusions. So here, this is 1, 2, and this is 3. Okay, very good. When I use must, say, okay, to say we are sure of something. We are sure of something. Use must only if you are sure about something. Use can't or couldn't. Okay, why? If to say that we think something is impossible. Finally, use may or might or even could to say that something is possible. Okay, let's say that something is possible. Now look at these two here sentences. The story about the green aliens can't be true. Can't be true. It might be a prank. Why? A prank, it's like something like a joke or something like it's not real. Okay, so it must be April 1st. And I'm now talking about which tense? Which tense? It's the present. It's the present. What about the past? The past tense. The story about the green aliens can't have been true. Can't have been true. Why? It might have been a prank, but again, it must have been April 1st or the April 1st. This is the past tense. This is the past tense. So here we have different sentences. Why? Because here I'm talking about the present and here I'm talking about the past with the same not the same form but the same meaning. Okay, but the same meaning. Story about the green aliens, the story about the green aliens in both sentences. Here A, for example, and this one is B. Okay, this one is B, to differentiate between them, between the two sentences. But aliens can't be true, and the second one can't have been true. Okay, very good. We use, to remember this, we use must to say we are sure of something. If you are sure about something, use must. And use can't or couldn't to say that something is impossible. Can't or couldn't. And finally, use may, might, or could to say that thing is possible to do. Okay, possible to be done. Very good. Now let's move. We have exercise on page 45. Write sentences to speculate about situations. So you are going now to speculate this situation. Okay, speculate this situation. How? Use can't. You are going to use can't, could, couldn't, must, may, or might in your sentences, in your own sentences. Okay, of course I will help you with that, but first let's see here. This is an example. Boys and worried. We have a noun. What about worried? Is it a verb? No, it's not. Okay, so I'm talking about the adjective. Do you remember this? Very good. Why they are worried? The boys, I mean. Why? Because they smashed the window. They smashed the window. So now you are going to speculate. Okay? Now you are going to speculate. Why they are worried? Because they smashed the window. Okay. Now I want you to use can't or could, couldn't, must, may. It's up to you. This is like an example for you now, because you are going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4, and of course I will help you with that. Okay, let's see the answer. Here, the boys look worried. Why? Why? Because they must have smashed the window. Here, they must, and they did actually. They smashed the window. Okay, so they look worried. This is again as we said earlier. Now what about number 1? Fans happy. Why do you think they are happy? Maybe they are holding a flag, okay, and doing what? Yeah, trying to cheer because their team or the team is winning. Very good. This is number 1. And number 2 is what? Look at here. Shouting, okay? So Nawal here is angry. She is shouting on the boy here, okay? Why? He's eating actually, okay, and drinking, of course. Okay, very good. Now I want you to speculate. Why? Number 1, why they are happy. Use, as I said, can, could, or couldn't, must even. And number 2, Nawal angry. Why Nawal is angry? Okay, let's start to see the answers. Number 1, sorry about that. The fans look happy. Why? Their team must have won the game. Their team must, okay, their team must have won the game, and they can't have lost. They can't have lost, because I'm talking about what here? Past or present? Talking about their team must have won. So I'm talking about the past. So they are happy now. Very good. What about 2 here? Nawal is angry. Why? Because Nawal looks angry. She may never stop shouting. Okay, so see, she now shouting on the boy here. Okay, she may never shouting. Okay, her daughter must have done something terrible. Her daughter must have done something terrible. Again, here we used may, she may never, and here we used must have done something terrible. Let's move to 3 and 4. Here, parents sad, and officer surprised. Why? The officer is surprised. Nice. Now here the parents, okay, they are sad for, look at the car. Okay, we are having their son, for example, he is leaving. Maybe, it's up to you. Okay, maybe he's leaving, he's flying to somewhere or traveling to somewhere else. Okay, and here the officer is surprised. Why is he surprised? Why? Okay, very good. Let's start. Number 3, his parents are sad because he must be going to college. Maybe I'm speculating now, okay, guys? He must be going to college. So they are sad. Number 4, why the officer, we said, why the officer is surprised? because the officer is surprised, the boy might have crashed into him. Okay, so here, as you can see, the bicycle and the boy here, okay, the boy must or might have crashed into him. Okay, so they have an accident here. They had an accident. The officer and the boy. Okay, very good. Now let's move to our project today. What we are going to do now, look at these pictures. Okay, as you can see here, they are having, for example, or filming something in the studio. This is the screen, of course, and we have the cameraman here and the director, of course. Okay, in the back of the camera, trying to filming something. Okay, it's like a sitcom or maybe a movie or a film itself. Okay, very good. What we are going to do, you are going to design a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, why? Because first of all, I want you to give me an ideas about this sitcom or film you are going to talk about. Okay, then try to research. Okay, research films or sitcom TV and find scenes. Find what? Find scenes that you find really funny. Okay, so I want those scenes to be really funny. Choose two films or sitcoms, okay, and watch the scene again if possible. Research, then find the scene that you really find it's funny or funny. Choose two films or sitcoms and watch the scene again if possible. Number 2, make notes. Okay, make notes. Where? You should use this chart to make notes about the film or the sitcom. For example, what is the name of the film or sitcom? Maybe, for example, I would use the Tash Matash, for example, okay? And this actually is a famous Saudi comedian or sitcom show because it's known in the Arabic world, for example. So the scene and description. Do you remember the scenes we are talking about in the writing? We talked about how you can write scenes. Very good. Okay, so write the description of the scene. For example, Kevin now is entering into the school or entering in his living room wearing the track suit. Okay, and maybe sometime you could use the character itself, okay, for the character's personality, I mean, okay, to make funny moves or funny, for example, movements. So here talking about the scene and description, don't forget that. The character's name, role, and actor. And you know Tash Matash, who's acting in this sitcom, for example, okay? We know that Mr. Nasser, okay, his name is Nasser, it's a famous one, actually. And Mr. Abdullah also. So we have Nasser and Abdullah, okay? Very good. The rules, okay, name, rule, and actor, anything you want. Script, what characters say. Now you are going to write, for example, Nasser will greeting Abdullah, for example. Okay, so we'll start with the greeting. Okay, the greeting here. And also you could add more scripts if you want to the conversation between Nasser and Abdullah to be more vivid, more live. Okay, very good. Action in the scene. Entering, okay, or going out, rushes out. Kevin rushes out the door. Here I am doing action in the scene. Okay. Finally, funny element. Funny element, something that make the scene funny. For example, behavior. Sometimes if the actor did something like smile or laughing all the time, words to be used to make the people who are watching laugh. Appearance, what kind of outfit may he wear, okay, and etc. How the character act also, okay. So here, when they act, they have to do something like funny movements, okay, funny things to do to make the audience laugh. Very good. But first, I want you to look at this script. Do you remember this from the writing? Very good. Here, look at this script. Which tense is used now? Kevin rushes out the door, holding the envelope as bits of confetti start falling out, marking his trail. Umar stands at the door, shaking his head. He is holding another letter in his hand. So, which tense we are using here? We are using the present, okay? Why? Why we are using the present? Present, we use present, okay, if you're having something to be developed, okay, all the time. So we're having scenes, okay, here, and we use the present because it conveys that this scenes or the script here, it may develop to something else, to something else. So this is why I am using the present. Here, look, he is holding another letter in his hand. He is holding. Okay, so also this is a present, okay, progressive, of course, and he is conveying that something is what happened. So here the Kevin rushes out while Umar is holding another letter. This is the development of the first script, okay, the first script. So what we are going to do is this. You are going to choose 2 films or 2 sitcoms. You are going to make notes just like this one we did now, okay. You should write another one. Then you could write the characters, okay, the scene description as I showed you earlier, okay. Here, Act 1, Scene 1, okay. Here we have in the living room, morning, okay, not in the night. Day 1, Omar and Kevin. You could write, for example, Nasser and Abdullah as we did earlier, okay. What characters say? If you want to greet, for example, you should write greeting. Actions in the scene, okay, what is happening, entering or going out, for example, from the place. Then finally, funny elements, what make the scene funny, what makes the scene so fun. And actually this was the last slide of our lesson. Let's go back to the objective of our lesson today. We used can't, could, couldn't, okay, must, may or might to make suppositions and design a PowerPoint presentation about a circle, okay. Thank you so much guys, and inshallah I will see you at the next lesson. Goodbye.